Good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Robert Speta here with today's tropical weather update with tropical cyclone Errol out here, or 21S, moving off just off the western Australia here, just south of Timor, Indonesia, right in this region here, and we're seeing a rapid intensification on this system over the past 24 hours here. You can actually see in this satellite loop this building up rather quickly here and moving off towards the west. Also, I do want to talk about this system and also going to move up towards the northern hemisphere near the end of this update if you want to see some weather update around the tsunami-stricken area, as well as we can have a couple areas of low pressure here bringing some precipitation up in Honshu today. But actually today, though, the big topic of story, though, is this tropical cyclone here. And showing the zoomed-in visible imagery here is very well defined. Some very well-defined outer rain bands here wrapping around the southern portion of Timor here, with the inner eye wall actually developing up here. And on microwave imagery, you can actually see where this eye wall showing these outer rain bands here, especially this one, the thicker one, just south of Timor, looking at heavy rain showers along the southern portion of that island here in Indonesia here over the next 6 to 12 hours, actually, as that starts to move on shore. Possibility of some localized flash flooding on shore there. But basically, the inner eye wall starting to form up in here with the centralized of those winds currently right around 55, gusting up to 70 knots. That is per JTWC right now. No exact obs coming out of that region there. But expecting this to drift off towards the west-northwest basically here over the next 24 hours. With the overall background flow as shown on this current streamline analysis here, basically the winds coming from the southeast towards the northwest. That's going to carry this system off in this general direction. Possibility of some rain showers along the southern portions of Indonesia here, but not expecting most of that to make it over the mountains of Indonesia along the north side. Basically just the southern side, especially Timor here, going to see the max amount of precipitation with this system. But one thing I do like to use these streamline analysis models is because, especially weak systems like this, models really don't pick up on them too much, especially the global models like No Gaps and GFS, very weak on this. But the streamline analysis, you can kind of get a quick gathering of where the system should be headed, and that is with this overall background flow in this area, expecting it to move off towards the northwest, eventually lose Coriolis and increase in wind, as shown here just on the top left portion of the map right in here. You can't see about this 20 knots of wind shear here located over Indonesia. It's very unfavorable for this warm core low to develop up on, and once you see wind speeds above 15 knots of wind shear through that atmospheric vertical in the atmosphere, you start to get to see the tops knocked off of these, and then really just kind of loses its overall vertical support. So as it drifts off towards the northwest, you're going to lose its Coriolis of force. Basically 10 degrees north is kind of the key rule there. Just losing that up and then increasing the wind shear, we're going to gradually see some dissipation on this by the 18th into the 19th. Until then, it still is going to continue to track off towards the west here. JTWC has the system maxing out around 60, gusting up to 75 knots. I wouldn't be surprised if on the next warning they make it a little bit higher, given the fact that we are seeing a well-defined eye wall now, and also this system is sitting in sea surface temperatures well above 80 degrees, as shown on this map, where you do see these exceptionally warm temperatures south of Indonesia here and along western Australia throughout this entire region here. Temperatures well above 80 degrees, even upwards of the 90 in many of these areas around the islands here. And if you get these outer rain bands getting wrapped up in some of these exceptionally warm waters, you could even see some more localized explosiveness coming out of those bands. But showing here on the Bureau of Meteorology's warning for this system, they have it going off towards the west-northwest and eventually the west, quite like JTWC has it, but they don't have it going as far. Basically, once it gets past Timor here, it's going to kind of dissipate out here, encountering that increased wind shear up in this region, and just losing the overall Coriolis force, as already mentioned. This is one of those rare systems where that actually does take place and actually is going to be one of the major factors why this system is gradually dissipating. But as already stating, though, the winds are centrally located around the center of this storm here, not really extending out too far. It's actually quite a small center of a rotation on this system where those max winds are. Actually, for example, out of Kupang, just checked some of the obs there, and for the past 12 hours, they've really just been reporting basically light winds there. They are seeing an increase in the low deck there, about 1,500 foot ceiling rolling through the entire area there, and not any showing signs of precipitation there. But just one thing I do want to continue to monitor that as this system continues to track off towards the west here over much of this region here in Indonesia. But just basically a big thing out of this, some localized winds and the potential for some flash flooding in these low-lying areas, especially in some of the mountainous areas up here. Moving up into the northern hemisphere, looking over Japan today, we do have an area of low pressure moving over the region here. This was an area of low actually centered up here just south of the Cyclone Peninsula here, moving over Kaido right now. But it did split up over the Alps right in here, and you're starting to see a new baroclinic leaf form up here southeast of Honshu. And this is going to develop up recent precipitation here along the Kanto Plate this morning, but also around the Fukushima area where you are seeing these tsunami-stricken areas. Going to see some increase in rain today as this moves off towards the east. Basically expect that to move off, so mostly cloudy skies moving in behind that. But by the, actually on the 18th into the 19th, you're going to see this area of low pressure over here develop up, run up and follow this overall trough of low pressure off towards the northeast and bring some more precipitation through this region here. And actually showing JMA's 48-hour forecast here with the system on the 17th at 12Z. And it kind of basically describes what I just said, an area of low pressure following that stationary front off towards the northeast, all following along this overall boundary of trough right in here, separating the Asiatic high and the Westpac high right in here. It's going to follow that up, bring some northeasterly winds here across Honshu, and also some increased precipitation as this runs up just along the coast here. So not expecting any rain to rain out over the Alps, because this is one of those southerly lows coming up this way, so just expecting to see that on the 18th into the 19th here for much of Japan. Wise though, fairly quiet out there across much of the western Pacific. We do have this area of convection down here south of 10 degrees latitude, so not expecting too much to develop out of that, but continuing to monitoring it. Now, no invest areas out on this, but it is a very widespread area of convection. I wouldn't be surprised if Monterey does put an invest out on this just to basically watch this as it drifts towards the west. Could increase precipitation here for Palau, and then eventually the Philippines over the next 96 hours as it drifts off in that direction. So just one of those easterly waves that we need to continue to monitor. But otherwise, right now, over much of Luzon, including Manila, over the next 48 to 72 hours, northeast monsoon continues to dominate this region, producing no significant weather and really not even seeing too many afternoon rain showers in that region locally. So that's kind of the good news out there. But that's all I got for today, everybody. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, as usual, you can post them here at westernpacificweather.com. You can email me or post them at the YouTube channel on the YouTube site here, where if you're watching this there as well. And also, I'll be posting this update on storm2k.org as well. Plenty of meteorological sound there, people there, and there's a thread on this specific cyclone there as well. So just kind of check that out. If you have anything else, though, just please let me know, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for listening. Bye.